This was the largest massacre in history. It was also called Human Purge Plan. This plan regularly reduced a significant number of individuals. In the near future, the world's population has exceeded 5 billion. Highly mechanized cities no longer required a large workforce. To solve overpopulation, the federal government has established a 2-kilometer death tunnel in the only passage to the city. The tunnel would close sporadically prior to closure. Anyone still in the tunnel would be targeted for elimination by the system and be disposed of. But there were always some people who liked to walk on the edge of death. The family of 5 just returned from the beach. At that moment, there was a tense atmosphere in the car, because they were on their way to the tunnel of death. Looking ahead, the long line seemed endless. As the news played, their tension grew. The tunnel closed 20 hours ago. The car's current speed was 5.35 kilometers per hour. In the next 60 minutes, there was a 9% chance that the tunnel would close. This made them extremely anxious. But the young boy leisurely put on his headphones, not afraid at all. From the window, the boy saw the girl next car with long hair. The boy couldn't help but look shy. Turning his head once more, the girl also looked in this direction. Seeing this, the parents exchanged a glance and understood the meaning. The vehicle inched forward. The car's atmosphere turned oppressive again. Suddenly, the car jolted and all the vehicles coincidentally came to a stop. The entrance to the tunnel displayed that it was currently closed. They exhaled in relief. This closure also meant that the probability of the next closure would decrease significantly. The survival chances in opposition would also increase. According to the words, "closing the death tunnel," written on the side. The government's actions have already sparked discontent. Currently, the rain might suggest an approaching storm, 2 young children about to deepen their communication for each other. Suddenly, the boy looked into the distance. The tunnel door reopened. The vehicles inside have already vanished. The queue moved towards the tunnel's depths again. They would pass through this tunnel within 15 minutes, The man couldn't help but swallow his saliva, as the sound reminded them that they were already in the tunnel. Everyone looked curiously out the window. 2 massive fans loomed overhead like the Grim Reaper. Just as the father was complaining about his daughter's portrait, the lights in the tunnel suddenly dimmed for unknown reason. Perhaps it was a moment of fate, as the lights swiftly returned to normal. Perhaps as a way to comfort himself, the father blamed the system's possible aging for all of this. Through the perspective of the little girl, we can see that they have already traveled more than half the distance inside the tunnel. The boy and the girl in the car were flirting with each other through the window. The more critical the moment, the likelier it was to mess up. The car abruptly stopped without warning. The system detected a lane change irregularity. Meanwhile, the vehicles on other lanes were driving normally. Only their lane and the neighbor girl's lane were idle. It turned out that a car was stuck in the middle of 2 lanes. By now, the car's atmosphere was very tense. As the vehicle entered the next lane, the cars started moving again. This made them sweat nervously. The exit was within reach, but the children's laughter greatly annoyed their mother. Suddenly, a piercing bell rang out from the horn. The heavy iron gate finally closed. The car's broadcast began playing. They narrowly escaped a disaster and embraced as a family. They smiled with joy. Unfortunately, the vehicle with the neighboring girl remained trapped inside forever, because of one car's unpredictable lane change. It was so absurd that in such an advanced future, the federal government used this method to control the population worldwide, which was truly ironic.